right. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. I did some stuff this afternoon, and I know that, the idea was to set up the camera and walk you through it. We're going to start doing that. We're going to start back up with that this weekend. Because I need to clear out space that I can move freely. Like, I'm starting to step on stuff, and it's nowhere near as messy and as overwhelming as other moves are, as other remodels have been. They've been disastrous. That's not the case now. So I took some time this morning to get some stuff done, and I'll show you what I did. And then I'm going to show you what the plan is going forward. We're going to make some big moves, unprecedented moves that I have not done since this room began, and I'll show you what that is. All right, in a minute. So we got 2 more shelves completed today, and I'll show you what I did and where I put stuff, and I'm happy with all of it. Something will probably there's a couple of things that'll probably change, but that'll make more sense when space clears out. Okay, so a couple of things. There was a comment from somebody who said, I love all your videos and stuff, but it feels like you're trying to add. They said basically nobody's 80s living room had toys and the stuff that you have. So, if you're making an 80s living room, you're doing it with too much toys. Okay, I get the confusion. So I'm not turning this whole entire room into an 80s living room. If I was to do that, I would turn this into kind of like an 80s apartment. Like I think there's enough room down here for, if I was actually doing an 80s living room in this room, yes, I'd have to get rid of all of the toys, and I'd have a couch and a love seat and a chair and end tables and coffee tables and some shelving. Yes, of course, I would do that. Now, I'm not turning the whole room into an 80s living room. I'm turning a section of the room into an 80s sitting area. Okay, I keep calling it a living room because it's going to have a couch and it's going to have a coffee table and it's going to have end tables and it's going to have lamps and accessories and stuff. But it's also going to have, all of the 80s stuff that was on the section over here. House, my grocery products, the kitchen products, the clapper, all that silly stuff that I had. Trust me, it's okay. We're not turning it into an actual 80s living room. We're turning a section of it into a more comfortable lounging area for me in 80s motif. Okay, does that make it better for you to cope with? Okay, so this is going pretty well. And honestly, doing it this way, I guess I never realized how much space I actually had down here. Because if I was not doing an 80s living room, I would be able to condense this room probably in half, which is insanity the way I'm doing it. So anyway, let's take a look at what I did today and where we're going this weekend. All right, so you have seen all of this. This is the entry to the room. You have seen this. You have seen the shelf next to it. We're going floor to ceiling, guys. We are not going to lose any space. We're going floor to ceiling, okay? And over on this shelf, we went floor to ceiling as well. So you can see what I did on shelf number 3. It's just kind of a hodgepodge. I used to try to organize stuff by genre and by, brand or whatever, but I can't. So I have been able to cram so much stuff up there, but I don't feel like it loses anything. I don't feel like anything is like unseen. Nothing is really hiding anything. There's a board game that's kind of hiding back there. You can see the little cat's head popping out. Cradle Cat. Okay, so then we come down. I was able to get a full McDonald's shelf. All right. I was able to get a full turtle shelf. And this is it for turtles. I don't want any more. And to be honest with you, I don't even really want the collector's case or the TV tray, but they're not losing me any space, so I'm okay. These are all I want for turtles. It's like Series 1 and a little bit of Series 2. You know, whatever. I have the main characters. This is the part of the cartoon that I enjoyed most. The very basic cartoon, first season or two. And then when they started to add, you know, all the other side characters and everybody else, then I lost interest in it. Down here, I had a ton of these PVC figures, and they deserve a spot, so they have a spot. And I put the two. These are not the new release Halloween buckets. I showcased that because that's the lunchbox that I had in 4th grade. So I kind of showcase the lunchbox. Lunchboxes are going to be a different discussion. I don't know what we're going to do with all of them. I don't. I was able to do a Chuck Norris shelf. Not bad, you know. It's there. The Karate Commandos vehicle is there. Added a few little extras to fill up the side. And then down here, look, starting lineups to me are kind of the equivalent in importance of the American Gladiator stuff. I don't care much for them, but I can't get rid of them, you know, so the Gladiators still get a spot over here. I had a few NBA ones, and I had the Yankees ones. I put them in the box. I put them in the starting lineup Talking Baseball box because I do not need to line up maybe 16 or 17 starting lineup figures. I don't. I kept out the Dallas Cowboys ones because those are the ones I actually had as a kid. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Herschel Walker. So I kept those. The box is big. It takes up a little portion of a shelf. But look how small this shelf space is. You know, it barely, you know, what else was I going to get in there? So I'm not losing anything there. That's okay. Now I did the horror shelf, right? I capitalized on the window well there. The only thing that's hiding is my Chucky doll. You know, it's okay. I don't really care. I've got my stuff. You know, I've got all the stuff that I used to have. Like this top, nothing really changed with this top shelf. Everything was up here, and then I just moved the Friday the 13th NECA figures over. Nothing's hiding. There's a lunch pail behind there, but it's a modern lunch pail, the PS4. Those modern lunch pails were sold at like FYE. I think I got it like for my sister-in-law a couple years ago. So it's behind the figures, no big deal. Another shelf, the books, the Crystal Lakes Memories book, the Blairstown book, more non-NECA Friday the 13th stuff, a few of my final remaining Nightmare on Elm Street stuff, my Crystal Lake water that I got myself from Crystal Lake when I did the tour. And then, let me let the dog in. Oh, good. Guess not. I had 2 more shelves to go. I had 2 shelves, and I didn't have anything to put in there that would make sense. So I just threw a few of the bigger boxed items in there. You know, the My Friend Snoopy bowling game, that giant sit and spin, which doesn't even fit in the shelf. But that's okay, because we're not really going to be walking by here anyway. The Dukes of Hazzard Barn Busters that I got gifted to the channel. Cabbage Patch Doll potty chair. Will they stay here? I don't know. I don't know. There might actually be a ton of leftover room that stuff could go in. But that's what I did so far. And look at this. I have room for 1 more bookshelf. And then we would obviously have to take down the G.I. Joes. Okay, so this is where it's going to get... I have to make some choices. I'm going to put another bookshelf in here. Okay? At this point, I have no idea what's going in it. Because all that's left, bookshelf-wise, are the plushies that I think I'm putting away. I might not have to. Because all I have left is 1, 2, 3, 4 bookshelves. And 5. This one here. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I told you before I'm taking that door off and I'm going to hang a curtain. Okay? I'm going to take down these shelves and I'm going to put bookshelves here. And I'm going to be able to get 3 of them in here. As long as I take off that door, all the carded stuff's going to come down. We'll find a new place for it. But I am going to put bookshelves here. And I'll be able to get 3 of them in there. And I'm going to move, this is the thing I've never done before. The LJN showcase wall is going to get moved. I didn't think I would. It's okay. I'm all right with it. I'm going to somehow get the LJN figures into a bookshelf. Plenty of room on top for the ring boxes. I'm going to use another bookshelf for the Galoobs, the San Francisco toy makers, the Remcos, and that's it, and the Bendies, and the Customs, and they're all going to go over here in bookshelves. All right, and the door's coming off. So it's going to be good because these VHS tapes. So again, now I know this video's everywhere and it's probably not looking good, but by the TV. So the couch is going to be here. And where I'm standing, my back's up against the wall. See, my back's up against the wall. I'm going to be in the couch, and this is going to be the view from the couch. Now, up here, the G.I. Joe stuff's going to be gone. We're probably going to put the G.I. Joes where the LJNs are. G.I. Joe stuff's going to be gone, but I am going to utilize those brackets. I'm going to put VHS tapes all in the shelves that will go on those brackets. So behind the TV is going to be TV related stuff. The TV guides, the VHS tapes, the cable boxes. The cable boxes are going to go on the TV. Whatever else I need to put up there is going to go behind the TV on shelves. So that's going to eliminate, this section of the shelf. It's going to eliminate where I put the VHS tapes over here. They're all going up there. And I've decided that it's going to be every VHS tape that I have. So the wrestling ones, the cartoons, I'm not going to separate VHS tapes. They're all going to go above the TV. So again, this is what I've done so far. I like it. I really like it a lot. I like the floor to ceiling look. I love it. I think we've totally maximized space. And again, that's all we have left. We have already created that's all we have left. And those shelves aren't even close to full. And the majority of it is stuffies and lunch boxes. Okay, so we're going to figure out something. This is likely going to be the 80s stuff area. So I will spread those brackets out and put shelves pretty much in this whole paneled area. And it's going to be my 80s stuff. And then the living room portion is going to start here. And it's going to go all the way down. And I think we're just going to be able to move those shelves across the room. So it's a mess. But look what the dog's eating. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. You are my favorite doggy in the world. Okay, no damage. No damage. She just grabbed the Hulkster, started chewing on him. All right. Aside from that coffee table end table that obviously has to move, this looks fantastic. I love this. Again, I don't know if this section is going to stay the same. I might move those out and put some, I don't know if I have like other figures, but I'm not going to put wrestling stuff over there. Wrestling stuff is going to stay on one side of the room. I don't know. I should probably just leave them there because they're such big boxes that they'll take up space. I don't know. We'll see. I know it's weird that you go like horror and then you got, Snoopy. I will fill in that negative space somehow if I do keep this stuff here. But I do love the floor to ceiling. Really, really consolidated. This has never looked this way. I've never used this corner for shelves. I have never used this portion of the room for shelves. So anyway, all right, so that's... Here, let me get my hand out of the way. That's where we're at. Yeah, I'm okay taking the LJNs down. Not down, but I'm I'm okay getting them into a bookshelf. I think we can somehow, even if all three bookshelves are wrestling related, and here I'm standing above the little seat. It looks like the room is really small, so I'll get out of there. Even if all three bookshelves that'll fit on that wall are all wrestling related, and I can spread the LJNs out a little bit, because I mean I can get Remcos into one shelf and they're still displayed nicely. That's okay. That's okay, because I think that far wall could be a G.I. Joe section, because remember, I have the Technodrome and I have the big G.I. Joe base, and I need some wall space, or I need some floor space for those things too. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be crazy, but I think it's okay. And because the G.I. Joes are an ongoing collection, yes, I've paused it right now, but they're an ongoing collection. So I don't want to put them in a final spot, kind of like over here. Like that's it. I mean, they're packed in. I mean, if there were 20 more Karate Kid figures to get, I'd be in trouble, right? So, and there's probably over 150 more G.I. Joes that I would eventually need. So I want them to have a working space. I think I just spit. A working space. So anyway, it's going. I will probably get back at this Friday night, tomorrow night. Maybe we got bowling and like dinner and stuff. So, but I got plans for everything in my head. Everything has a spot in my head, and it's gonna work out. It's gonna be good. So let's take one final look at what I did so far. I'll stand way back so you can see kind of the layout now. So that's the layout. That is where the living room set was. That's where it was. And now it is just floor to ceiling toys. And it looks good. It looks really good. I like it. And I can still get one more bookshelf in there and then move these down a little bit. Move those brackets down so that I could get all of my 80s stuff in there, which is in these boxes. This is what I mean. Like all that stuff is going to live on the shelves. And the cool thing is the shelf, the 80s stuff that's going to go on these shelves will be closer to the living room. So it'll kind of like, be like, oh, next to my couch is, all of my Hawaiian Punch can and my Chia Pet. And, it makes sense, right? Makes sense to me. But, I didn't want to confuse anybody with I was turning the room into an 80s living room. I know I kept using that terminology, but no, I'm not. I'm not turning it into an 80s living room. Like I said, if I did that, then I'd have to get rid of everything that's down here and just get some, oil paintings and make it an actual 80s living room. But no, I'm not doing that. But it's gonna be good, and you're gonna be excited about it, and the channel's gonna be excited about it. Doing shows down here in the future, I can see it shaping up. All right, that's it. That went about 14 minutes too long. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night now. Turn off.